All right, let's finish off this script here. So what we're going to do is we're going to create all of the cross references after this paragraph here. And so we're going to use bulleted paragraphs. And let's look at our code and what we have. So this is really the whole script. Everything is more or less combined. And so let's just go through it real quick. So we have our main function. We've seen this in all of our scripts. And this function is just basically going to do two things. It's going to get the marker data from the document, and then it's going to insert the marker data based on that. And one thing we'll do here is let's look and see the script where we actually updated the cross references. So we'll actually put that in the process doc function. So let's put that here. So we can just wait until all the cross references are inserted. And then you saw this in the last video. This is our function that actually inserts a single cross reference. Here's the one we had earlier, get the marker data, get the marker to see if there's an existing marker. If not, it's going to add one. This is the one that derives the cross-reference marker text. This is a utility function just for getting the text of the paragraph. And this is a new one here because we want to apply a specific paragraph format. So we just added this one for the script for this run. So what we're really missing here is we are missing this function here. So let's go ahead and create that. And we're going to say function insert xrefs, and we need the document object, and we need the marker data. And again, that marker data is actually an array of marker texts. It's an array of strings. And then so what we'll do is we'll create a count variable, a counter variable, and we'll just create a marker text variable for each one, and we'll actually create an xref variable. Now we're going to return the cross-reference after we insert it. We don't really need to do that at this point, but we'll do it anyway just in case. So we want to get the count of the number of marker strings in this marker data array. So that's going to be the length property, and then we're going to say for I equals 0, I is less than count, and then we're going to say I plus equals 1. So we're going to increment that, and we can test this real quick. We can say alert, and actually let's grab the marker text from the list. Marker text equals marker data, and then we just put in the current member, and then we'll just display it to make sure that that's actually working. Now actually, instead of displaying it, let's write it to the console, because if we had 1,000 of these, we wouldn't want to write it to we wouldn't want to display an alert for each one. We only have 3, but let's do that anyway. So let's go here. Our console is cleared, and let's go ahead and run this. And you can see there's our 3 members. So for each one of these members, we're going to insert a cross-reference. So let's go here, and we actually need another variable. We need a paragraph variable, because we're going to insert a paragraph at the end. So let's actually make that first. So let's say pgf equals doc main flow in doc first text frame in flow last pgf. Now this is not going to work in your production script, more than likely. What you're going to have to determine is where is the paragraph that's going to have the very first cross-reference in it. We're going to cheat here, and we know that this paragraph that we're looking for is in the first text frame, but ordinarily it wouldn't be that way, and I'm going to leave that for you to solve. But you do need a paragraph, a starting point, for the first cross-reference and then the subsequent ones. So what we'll do here first is we'll add a paragraph. So we're going to say pgf equals doc new series pgf, and all that requires is the previous paragraph. So the previous paragraph is the last one in that text frame, so we're going to create a new one immediately after that. So that's what we're doing there. And then what we're actually going to do is we're going to apply the bulleted paragraph format to that by calling that function that we saw. So we're going to say pgf, and we're going to call it bulleted. I believe it has a capital B, bulleted, and then we need the doc object. Now let's actually run this. Let's just see what we get here. We should get 3 bulleted paragraphs. So let's just make sure that works. So we're going to go back here, and we're going to, we don't even need that highlighted. We're just going to go run. And then you can see we did end up with 3 bulleted paragraphs. So that's where our cross-references are going to go. So let's go back to the script. And now what we can do is we can call this function now that we have this. So we're going to say xref, because we're going to return it even though we don't really need it. Add xref, and we're going to pass in the paragraph object. The cross-reference name is heading and page. We're going to use that one because we know it exists. And then the marker text is going to be what we derived from our list, from our array. And finally, we're going to pass in the document object. And we don't need to write to the console anymore. And let's see what we get. Yeah, so we get our 3 cross-references. There's the cross-reference to the first one. There's a cross-reference to the second one. And then there's the third one. Now let's delete these just to show you, to make sure you can see that the whole thing now is working. So we're going to actually delete these 2 markers. And then we'll go to the marker window, view, panels, markers, and we refresh that, and we see we only have 1 marker. So we want to make sure that the script is actually going to insert those markers where we're expecting them. So let's go ahead and run that again. And yeah, we get all 3, and if we refresh this, we'll see that the script added these 2 markers that we needed here.